Hey, this is Rick Casalage, injury specialist from exercisesforinjuries.com. In today's video, I want to go through a few yoga poses that you can end up doing before bed to help you relax and to increase your sleep and to make your sleep deeper and better. Now, Jenna's going to go through them. There ends up being 6 movements or exercises that you're going to go through. So the first one ends up being seated shoulder shrugs. So you're sitting, rolling, bring the shoulders up, rolling them back. So nice and tall, eyes are looking straight ahead, head's on top of the shoulders, shoulders are in line with the hips, and then you're bringing the shoulders up and rolling them back. So tightening up the muscles in the neck, tightening up the muscles in the mid-back, and that contract, relax helps ending up relaxing the tight upper trapezius muscles and mid-traps and rhomboid muscles. Then when it comes to sets, reps, time, and intensity, you're going to do 1 set. With repetitions, you're going to end up doing 5. Time ends up being a smooth, controlled movement. And the intensity, you want to really contract that upper trapezius, so upper neck, and that mid-back area. Now moving on to the second exercise or yoga pose, it's going to be seated forward head pulls. So you're sitting, you're dropping the head down, then you're going to use your hands to pull the head forward, and then you're going to relax. So this one ends up being more of a stretch. We're looking at stretching the back of the neck, and you might even feel it stretch through your mid-back and low back along the spine, targeting those small spinal muscles. Looking at the sets, reps, time, and intensity that you're doing, sets end up being 1. Repetitions, I would end up going with 2, and time would be 20 seconds. You want to hold that position for 20 seconds, and the intensity ends up being light. You're looking at a light stretch in the back of the neck, and it might carry on through the spine. So that's 2 of the exercises down. Moving to the third one, seated side bends. And with this one, so you're sitting, you're reaching straight up overhead, and then reaching to the side, and bending through the spine. So you should feel a stretch on the outer part of the opposite side, and also you'll end up feeling a stretch throughout your spine as well. So this ends up being a flexibility exercise, so we're stretching out the muscles on the outer part of the trunk, and also working on the mobility or movement of the spine. Looking at the sets, reps, time, and intensity, with this one, we're looking at 1 set. Repetitions would be 3 on each side, so alternating back and forth. Movement ends up being smooth, controlled movement with a good stop, so good 2 seconds at the end position. And the intensity, as I said, you want to feel a stretch in the outer part of the muscles of the trunk, and then also along the spine. You want to feel that spine loosening up as you do more and more repetitions side to side. Moving on to the fourth one, this is seated back twist. And then moving to the other side. So sitting nice and upright, you're going to reach back with one arm. You're going to bring the opposite arm in front of your knee and push with your hand and try to get more rotation going on. And then you're going to relax and you're going to go through the other side. Now with this one, we're working once again on mobility or movement throughout the spine, but more in the twisting or transverse plane that we're focusing in on. Looking at the sets, reps, time, and intensity, sets end up being 1. Repetitions 3 on each side. Time, smooth, controlled movement with a good stop at the end position, so a couple seconds. And the intensity ends up being light. We're looking at working that mobility or loosening up the spine with this movement. Now the 5th one ends up being seated forward fold. And then coming back up. So you're starting off with sitting nice and tall. You're walking the fingers out. You're bending through the hips and reaching out front. So this one working on loosening up the spine and then also stretching outer parts of that trunk area. So this ends up being flexibility exercise, and also a mobility exercise in the spine. Looking at the sets, reps, time, and intensity, sets end up being 1. Repetitions would end up being 3. Time, smooth controlled movement with a good stop at the end position, 2 to 3 seconds. And the intensity, we're looking at stretching the outer part of the trunk, but then also working on that mobility or movement in that spine. Now looking at the last one, number 6, child pose. Okay, good, and then coming back out. So starting in like a kneeling position, sitting back on your heels, walking out front, and then relaxing. So this one we're looking at, once again, stretching the muscles in the outer part of the trunk, working on the mobility of the spine, working on the mobility of the shoulders, and you're really relaxing and trying to drop your shoulders towards the mat. Now looking at this one, as I said, we're working on the flexibility in the outer part of the trunk, working on the flexibility of the shoulders, but also mobility in the spine and the mobility in the shoulders. Looking at the sets, reps, time, and intensity, sets end up being 1, repetitions end up being 3, time ends up being a smooth controlled movement with a good stop at the end position, and the intensity, we want to feel a stretch in the shoulders, also an improved movement in the shoulders. You're looking at improved movement in that spine, but then also stretching out the muscles on the outer part of the trunk. So there you go. That ends up being 6 yoga moves that you can end up doing before bed in order to relax yourself, improve your sleep, and help you end up having deeper sleep. Now, if you are suffering from back pain and are looking for some of my best tips and tricks when it relates to back pain, what I recommend you do is click right here. I have a brand new free report called 5 Tricks That Fight Back Pain and Tightness. Just click right here, let me know where to send that report, and I'll send you that report right away. Now, if you're watching this on a mobile device, tablet, smartphone, head down below in the description and click the first link, which will end up being exercisesforinjuries.com/backs. Let me know where to send that report, and I'll send you that report right away. Now, if you got benefit from this video, make sure to like this video. If you have a question or comment for me, leave it down below in the comment section. And lastly, hit subscribe in order to get future pain relieving videos.